6 o'clock straight up. Call the January meeting of the Millwood Planning Commission to order. We'll take a roll call. Commissioner Molitor. Here. Commissioner Rickard. Here. Commissioner Ankeny. Here. We do have a quorum. First order of business will be to approve the meeting agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda. I didn't see any issues.
I second. He seconds. Okay, we have a motion and a second. No discussion, I'm assuming. So all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
So next order of business would be approval of our prior meeting minutes. We actually have 3 sets of minutes. We've got our September meeting minutes, our October meeting minutes, and there was not a meeting in November because of Thanksgiving, but we did have a joint meeting with the city council in December. I looked them all over. I thought they did a great job. I think everything's there. If you guys don't have anything, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'd like to, all 3 of them.
Yeah.
I'd like to move that we accept all the minutes.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. So the next action item, we are going to have a planning commissioner appointment discussion, and it's my honor to introduce Mayor Beasy. And before she starts, I'd like to say one thing. I've been on the planning commission for over 10 or 11 years now, and not once have we ever had the honor of the mayor being at one of our meetings. And so I'm saying I'm very honored that you're here, number one. 2, to let the audience and my fellow commissioners know that Mayor Beasy and I have met a couple of times, and I think we are both committed to maybe attending each other's meetings at least quarterly or maybe semi-annually. But I am anticipating a very great working time with this city council, and I think that's something that the Planning Commission hasn't had in a long time, and I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you for being here. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Commissioners. So I want to talk to you about your 2 vacancies right now. The first one we already knew about. You actually came and talked to us at the joint meeting, and then also your chairman has discussed it at the public city council meeting, and that's the issue of Savannah. She had contacted our previous mayor, had moved, and because of due to the residency constraint in our ordinance, she was let go or change, or step down and stuff. And so that created 1 vacancy. I know at the joint meeting, one of the things that was articulated was, would we be able to retain her for even an interim, an interim amount of time, whether that be 6 months or whether a year, and that would require us to clarify the residence. I have met with legal counsel, and as it is stated right now in our ordinance, it says that the Planning Commission may or may not be residents, and I was advised legally that really the only clarification I can provide is the have or have not, may or may not. We could say may not, but I would tell you that is overwhelmingly not supported by everyone I interviewed with, because that has always been our tradition, is to hold that. I did explore, so we would not want to opt for that. And we can certainly do an ordinance to say we do want them to be a resident and firm that up. And that may be something council advises me to bring forward at a later date if that doesn't help your cause in order to retain Savannah. I did explore down into the granular levels. Would we be able to do a qualifier, or that there was a way for me to override it for even an interim period of time? And that is something that we can definitely explore. It is not what our legal counsel is advising. He says once you start putting in all these different qualifiers in it, you actually have muddied up the ordinance and not provided the clarity. You've actually created more. But in the case of Savannah, it would be too late anyways, because it wouldn't be a point of me extending her. She's now no longer a commissioner. I would have to reappoint her, and that is what the holdup is there. So in light of that, all those clarifications that I received, and certainly open if you guys want me to move forward for sure, just let's call it they have to be residents. And I definitely know that our city council is potentially having me explore that ordinance and codifying that. Nothing is going to bring Savannah back short of having her meet our requirements and me appointing her for another 6-year term. My commitment to you is to continue to work with the city staff. We are going to make a chart that allows us to know 90 days in advance when people are about to expire so that I can start addressing it in a timely manner. Additionally, had I received the call, I commit to you now, and I think that Chairman Ankeny can echo, he would be my next call before any action was taken place and stuff. And so that's my commitment, that is the resolution. So I'm hoping to move forward with just opening up a new query for a new planning commissioner that's a resident and end up doing the mayoral appointment as is our standard for that particular role. Is that the recommendation of you guys, or is that something that feels right to you for that commissioner spot?
Yeah, that feels right to me. The only thing I would ask is if we get multiple candidates that apply, is if I could maybe be part of the final interview process.
Totally open to that, yeah. So before I move on action or bring anything before council as far as an official appointment, I will at the very least have called and given you an update on where I was at. If there's multiple candidates, we can explore how we might truly treat that. Moving on to the second
Can I ask
vacancy.
one question?
Yes.
How do we post that, or how do we identify the option or a possibility of serving on the commission?
How we've traditionally done that is to start making an announcement. People start echoing that out. There will be applications that come through our office. I will probably have them in light of current staff overload right now at work, have them directly email me at either mayor, at whatever, or SBZ at our signifier, and then I will start filtering through that. I do know that there's already talk about that, so I'm assuming that we will get some applicants, or at least one
I was
applicant.
just curious. I know one person that may be interested, but I didn't know what the proper process was. So.
That's traditionally how we've done it, word of mouth, yeah, and then making sure. And I also, anytime I have something going on, I cascade it also to the like community groups, like neighborhood advocates. I would notify them so they can email blast all their interested people, and I will also be including it in my water bill newsletter that will be coming out in February. So there'll be multiple channels to potentially catch people. You might notice another vacancy is there. On December 31st, when I was doing my transition handoff, I was notified that Commissioner Bobby Beasley's time was up as of essentially that day. And there really was not a lot of time for me to move on anything. The only potential I could have done is bring it to the January meeting, and as a recommendation to appoint. But honestly, because I'm related to Commissioner Beasley, I did not feel comfortable just moving unilaterally on that. I have been in multiple correspondence with Chairman Ankeny. He seems that he wants to retain, but what we decided would be best course for public transparency is for me to address you today, ask, is that the wish of this council? Because I'm inclined to bring forward whatever your recommendation is to the February meeting so that you are made wholer during the remainder of your comprehensive planning.
Okay.
So the one question I have, there's one person that I've not talked to in regards to this. I see she's here. Mrs. Beasley, would you like to continue to serve on the Planning Commission?
I feel that we've started a pretty large project here, and yes, I'd like to finish it off.
Thank you for that. Then, as you already know, this commission strongly is recommending Bobby Beasley to retain her seat on the commission. Please take that to the city council.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Chairman, and then also the fellow commissioners. And just so you know, there was an unexpected conversation that happened at our last city council meeting where even Councilmember Stravens got involved and also echoed his strong endorsement for us retaining. I just wanted to be able to have this one public address before I unilaterally moved towards appointing Commissioner Beasley.
Does your recommendation then, is that the proper way that we address that, having Bobby come back?
In the future, yes. So in the future, what I would love to see happen is that I would know 90 days in advance before any of your terms are up. Then we would talk to you. I would talk to the chairman. And it is, at the end of the day, a unilateral appointment by the mayor, confirmed by the council. It was due to this unique nature because it had lapsed. It wasn't an extension. It is a brand new appointment. And because she's related to me, I felt like I needed to have this public discussion first.
Understandable. I just want to make sure that we did it properly as far as recommending having Bobby come back. Okay.
Yeah, I can appoint whoever I want, and we'll
Okay.
see if the council agrees.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. That takes us to our periodic update for an action item. And I don't see Amanda here, but I think she's being represented by somebody.
I'm on the keys.
Oh, is she online? Yeah. Okay. Well then, Amanda.
Apologies, Chairman, I'm homesick. So, tonight you have a public hearing before you for part 2 of the comprehensive plan update. This includes the climate element, that you were discussing last fall, and one small addition to the housing element, that was required after the growth management hearings board, case for Mercer Island. I ran that section back through Commerce, and it meets all requirements. And so this is being brought forward to you tonight for consideration. Before I continue with my staff report, I will go ahead and turn it over to Greg Zickerboos and his consultant to present the climate element portion.
I just noticed this is supposed to be a public hearing, so I need to open up the public hearing. Usually you have a piece of paper here because I have to read a few things.
Yellowing.
Okay. So we need to just take a time out just for a moment to go over the public hearing process. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to open a public hearing and ask all those who wish to provide testimony to sign in on the sign-in sheet provided. Please print your name and address clearly so information can be mailed to you. I'm going to ask any of my fellow commissioners if anybody has a conflict of interest.
No conflict.
I don't have a conflict either. Now it's time to, let's see. Is there anyone present who has any objection to any of the members of the planning commission hearing the proposal? Seeing none. Now it's time for the staff presentation. Amanda.
So just to reiterate what I already said, the climate element was presented to you last fall. It's been updated based on the comments. Tonight is the public hearing for the climate element, as well as one small addition to the housing element that was required based on the growth management hearings board case out of Mercer Island. That portion has been ran back through Commerce, and they have signed off on it. And so those are the only 2 additions to finish out the comprehensive plan part 2. At this time, I will go ahead and turn it over to Graham and the consultant and let them present on the climate element before I come back through on the housing portion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Like she said, my name is Graham Zickerboos. I'm a planner with Spokane County, overseeing the climate change and resiliency element for Spokane County's comp plan update, as well as, along with Cascadia, overseeing the updates of several of the towns in Spokane County, including Millwood. And like Amanda said, previous meeting we had in fall, you members of the Planning Commission saw the first draft of the climate change and resiliency element for Millwood. The changes requested at that meeting have been implemented in this draft. It starts on about page 50 of that document is where the revised climate element is.
Thank you.
And so with that, I'm going to just turn it over to Catherine, who's joining us online to kind of walk through some of those changes and just to get any additional feedback that the Planning Commission might have on that. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Graham, and thanks, planning commissioners. Like Graham mentioned, we were here with you all in October and went over the climate element, which comprised of the existing conditions, which is climate impact assessment and vulnerability assessment. We also have the draft goals and policies. Based on the feedback we received, it was just a few changes to some of the body text and some amendments to how we were discussing flooding and flood data and where that flood risk is in the city. We did not receive any comments or feedback on the policies and goals themselves. So those have remained the same since we last saw you all in October. But happy to talk through, if you have had more time to review since then, any other questions or concerns or clarifications you have on this document.
And if I could add one thing, on PDF page 19 through 23, I believe it is the goals and policies that have been included in the comprehensive plan up in the front. And the ones highlighted in green were comments received from Washington State Department of Natural Resources that I incorporated into the final version here.
Amanda, is there any way to change the color combination on that green update? I can't read it, so I don't know exactly what it says. That's on page 22.
Yeah, and I would agree with Jay. That's really hard to read with that green highlight. The green on the red.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's in green was on the goals was policy number 61. The rest are all the same wording that was incorporated in the fall. And then
Hey, Amanda, it'd be very helpful.
Down,
Amanda,
on policy number 56, it was added the language such as updates to the Spokane County Emergency Management Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan March 2021. So DNR requested that I add reference to what we currently have for a hazard mitigation plan. And that was what the other green language was. And then on policy 61, the language is integrate efforts around climate planning, hazard mitigation planning, emergency planning, land use planning, and other disciplines so that the plans and actions are supportive of each other and cross-reference each other as applicable, i.e. City of Millwood's participation in the Spokane County Emergency Management Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan March 2021. And those reference back to Goal 18. Hopefully that's helpful.
that makes sense. What she read.
I just wish I could.
Just you might want to consider that in the future though, because it's unreadable with the green on the red.
So noted.
Okay, thank you. All right, continue on. Or is that it? Is that the presentation?
Catherine, was there anything else we needed to make aware for the Planning Commission about the climate element revisions?
If everyone is happy with how it is, then we have nothing else to share.
All right.
I think the changes that have been discussed have been made.
Okay. Does the Planning Commission have any questions for Amanda
Catherine.
or Catherine? No, seeing no questions, okay. So Amanda, now are you going to do the applicant presentation since the City of Millwood's the applicant?
Yes, so the only portion I have to present on the housing is on PDF page 24 and 25. And this was the language that was required to be added based on the Mercer Island Growth Management Hearings Board case. Essentially, we had to use commerce rationale and their calculations in order to estimate what Millwood's shortage would be for affordable housing. And so we used our numbers that were in the comp plan in the 0 to 50% AMI bracket. In the 20-year planning period, it would result in an average of 3 new units needed per year to meet Millwood's allocated needs. So just taking the 20 years divided by what the requirement was. Average annual units produced so far has been 0. Gap in annual affordable housing production would be 3 units. And based on the figure that was provided, the average cost per unit at $217,419 in the 2022 dollars they requested. That results in a funding gap of $652,257, excluding money paid by tenants and occupants. This was the language that was requested to be added in order to comply with the housing requirements.
Amanda, this is Jay. This is for affordable housing. And this 0.4 cost per unit of $217,000 for affordable housing seems high. It doesn't seem realistic to me. So maybe Mike might know better about construction, but I don't know what the current cost per square foot is. And I know we have to abide by what council says, but that just seems like a very high number for affordable housing. Oh.
It was the Spokane County average cost per unit, and it's what was supplied to us.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions on the housing question?
I don't have any.
No.
No.
Okay. I'll go ahead and skip down here. Just 1 second.
That's affordable housing.
So PDF page 34, please. So if you wonder why this staff report looked familiar, it's because I basically took the Part 1 staff report and added on to it for the climate element, since it did incorporate that small provision of the housing element. So a lot of this is duplicative information, but I just wanted to reiterate that as currently written, the comprehensive plan Part 1 and Part 2 are internally consistent, so those requirements have been met. And consistent with GMA requirements, development regulations will need to be updated for consistency with the adopted comprehensive plan. No zone changes were required in order to accommodate Millwood's future growth. So as you know, our next phase is to go into the development regulations. Skipping over the summary and down to PDF page 37, please. So if there's no further discussion or questions needed, we've provided draft recommendations for the Planning Commission. Option 1 is recommendation of approval of Part 2, including the housing element and the climate element into the comprehensive plan. Option 2 is recommendation of approval with defined modifications. Option 3 is recommendation of denial, or option 4, forward to the City Council without Planning Commission recommendation. And I will turn it over to you, Chairman Aiken.
Great. Thank you, Amanda. Okay. Since the Planning Commission's got all their questions answered, the next is public testimony.
I have a question on that one.
Mike, public testimony?
No, I'm sorry, on the draft recommendations for the Planning Commission.
Okay.
I think, do we need to vote on option 1, recommendation of approval, or is that just something that we've done?
Okay, that is what the city's requesting, is that we pick one of these options.
Right.
And vote. Okay, so what we do now is we've asked our questions, so now the public has a chance to come up when we hear the public.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah, no problem. And then after they do that, then we'll close the hearing, we'll have our final questions and deliberation, and then we can choose which way we want to
Okay.
go.
All right.
So, is there anybody in the audience that wishes to testify? No? Okay. I'm going to do something probably out of the ordinary. Mrs. Beasy, do you have any comments you'd like to add on this?
I read through it, not quite as thoroughly as if I had the responsibility, but I didn't see anything that jumped out as being important. Or
Just,
they pretty well fixed what we brought up previously.
Okay.
So,
I know these are unusual circumstances, but, you know, I wanted to hear from you. So thank you for that.
I would have put my name down to testify if there was anything.
Okay.
That was wrong about it.
Okay. So if there's no other public testimony, and I don't think the applicant's going to rebuttal, any final questions from the planning commission?
No, other than making that recommendation, so.
Okay, so I am going to close the public testimony now and deliberation. Based on what we've heard, I think option one, we can send this to the city council. I think that'd be the way to go.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion on that?
Do you need a motion to recommend option one?
Okay. I make a recommendation to approve option one.
I second.
Okay, that's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion on the matter? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Good work, Amanda.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so now this brings us to, we will accept public remarks for anything that not on the agenda that we've already discussed. Is there anybody that wishes to address this, the planning commission? Seeing none. All right, Amanda, you're up with your city planner report for December 2025.
Okay. So other than working on comprehensive plan and development regulations, December was fairly quiet. We had two permits processed. One was a BLA that we're still waiting on finalization, and it's in the hands of the one of the property owners right now. And the other was a carport enclosure approval. And then continued forth with PTAC meetings and SCEO. We advertised adoption of part one of the comprehensive plan in the winter newsletter. And we've continued to get the word out there, of course, on the comprehensive plan element inclusion. That is currently what you just recommended approval for is in its 60-day review. The CEPA review has completed. And so prior to city council having action on it, the 60-day review will be concluded. And then I also incorporated in our critical areas ordinance some modifications based on the informal review by Department of Ecology and Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife. And so those will be coming back to you with the development regulations. The only other thing I wanted to mention was I talked a little bit about it in the December 9th joint meeting presentation. With having the timing on the climate element change slightly, I updated the public participation work plan. And so as of now, this is the new draft of the work plan that we're working off of. And this is on PDF page 110 if you want to pull it up, Kenzie. So public can see if it's in attendance. Okay. So January, obviously, we had the public hearing tonight. I will issue the notice of city council public hearing at least 10 days prior to their first public hearing. And in fashion, during the 60-day review, we do 2 public hearings with council. So February and March is the anticipated dates on that. During that time, the planning commission will be reviewing the draft development regulations updates that I've been working on. And then we will plan for a public workshop at your May meeting is what we're currently looking at. If we can get through it, I would like to get through the mandatory portions of the development regulations at the beginning to middle of 2026. And then that leaves optional ones that we have time for if we can, such as the sign code. And so that's how this has been laid out right now. We may be able to get to some of the August things in July. I'm not sure yet, so I went on a very conservative schedule when I put this out to City Council in their packet. So is there any questions?
Yes. So thank you for the schedule and everything on that. I'm looking forward, and I realize that it's only January. But I see that according to your schedule, you've already canceled the November and December meetings. And I know why. I know when they fall, and I'm fully in agreement with those. But I think instead of canceling, we need to look at dates to reschedule. Because that would be 2 months without a meeting. And I know that we're coming up with a lot of stuff to get done by the end of the year. So just something, I mean, we don't have to look at that even now, but I mean, let's just making you aware of that.
Yes, and we can discuss that at the October meeting about if we want to conduct special meetings for those months.
Okay, cool. Any questions for Amanda from the commission?
No, good suggestion.
Yeah, great work, Amanda. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us, we're moving right along. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Molitor.
I've asked my questions, so no additional comments.
Commissioner Rickard.
No additional comments.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to make a few, and the only reason I'm doing this is because I also sit on the Spokane Regional Transportation Commission, and we had our meeting today. And I also sit with my employer. We had our owners, project reps come out the last 2 days and talk about future projects. And there's a couple, and when the county and SRTC presents their projects, I don't think they take everything into consideration. And we are a little city, and we have been feeling the brunt of the North Spokane corridor not being open, the traffic through Argonne. And when he went through the whole Bigelow Gulch expansion project and felt the brunt of that traffic, and then we also felt the brunt of when we did our thing here, and even this week with the lights. And there's a huge project in the works that is going to affect Argonne Road, and that is the Sullivan Trent interchange. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but that is going to affect Argonne probably worse than anything. And that's coming up in the next couple of years. And I would think that hopefully the powers that be in Millwood will have some really good, long, hard talks with Spokane County and DOT, who's the drivers on, and the city of Spokane Valley, who's the driver on those projects, to figure out what the hell they're going to do with all their traffic. Just throwing it out there. I work in that industry, and I support the projects, but I don't support Argonne being backed up to the freeway or backed up past
Bigelow.
Yeah, I mean that's terrible. So something to be aware of there. Also, the maybe some things that have been talked about where the Argonne Park and Ride is going to be put. They've had a little problem acquiring the property from the Mexican restaurant, so that might be a little further down the road. And the other one that's going to affect and it's out of our jurisdiction, but when they do the bridge replacement on Argonne over the freeway, that's going to be another traffic impact for the city of Millwood. So just wanted to throw that out to be aware. Yeah. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, So I'm thinking that'll be a good time to be retired and move on. So anyway, if there's no more commissioner comments, great job putting this all together. This is the first meeting I think that you did it all on your own without Lisa, so good job.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Good job, Kenzie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And other than that, our next meeting is February 25th at 6 o'clock. The anticipated agenda items look like some more review, discuss the draft development regulation updates. And other than that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
And I'll say, let's vote. Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Wham bam.